Report of the New World, though the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So they finally did it. The House of Representatives have impeached Donald Trump, the third president in U.S. history to be impeached by the House of Representatives. Now, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, she actually, gave a speech. She was like, "We'd be derelict in our duty if we didn't go through with these proceedings." And I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, it's sad that we have to do this, but the president's reckless actions have basically left us with no choice. So what also she did say is that she will hold back the articles of impeachment from the Senate until the Democrats and the lawmakers are convinced that there's going to be a fair trial. Now, I say the Democrats because the whole vote was partisan. I mean, on the first article of impeachment, which was abuse of power, they voted 230 to 197. And on the second, they voted 229 to 198. The second one being the actual obstruction of Congress. And pretty much that just aligns with Democrats and Republicans. Oh, and I thought it was interesting. Democratic Senator and presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard, she actually voted president. She didn't vote either way. I thought that was interesting. But Green Wall and Graduation Report of the New World, though the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So now I told y'all about how the impeachment process happened, and the House majority, the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi actually said that they're not going to hand over the articles of impeachment to the Senate unless they're sure that it's going to be a fair trial. Keep in mind that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican, already labeled himself as an impartial juror and said that he would conduct the Senate hearing with the White House counsel. This is the same White House that is under scrutiny due to this impeachment process. Now, while everybody on Capitol Hill was worried about impeachment, Mitch McConnell went ahead and pushed through 11 federal district judge nominations. These are the cases that actually come to the courts before they even get to the Supreme Court or whatever. So a lot of decision power is had with that. And apparently they made a deal with the Democrats to expedite these nominations. 11, that's a lot. Green Wall graduation. Everybody for the other New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So while testifying to the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee Wednesday, the Department of Justice's independent Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, actually said that the government, or basically the FBI, should have halted its surveillance of Carter Page, Trump's campaign aide, when they decided to basically wiretap Carter Page. Now, Republicans are holding this as like basically like the boom moment of Michael Horowitz's investigation, which was mainly done to see if there was political bias involved in the investigation by Rob Mueller that went into the collusion between Russia and 2016 election campaign for Donald Trump. So this comes as the FBI, the FISA court, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance court. They actually put out a public order accusing the FBI of misleading the courts in order to actually conduct a wiretapping situation on Carter Page, and that they should propose like changes on how they would go about getting permission to do domestic surveillance against U.S. citizens. So I don't know, somebody's playing some trickery here. Green Wall and graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So in New Orleans, a federal appeals court actually struck down a part of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, basically ruling that it's unconstitutional to require citizens to have health care, which was like a dispute of minds when the Affordable Health Care Act was being implemented. But a lot of people are worried because it puts Obamacare in just a little bit of limbo, because a lot of people feel like that's actually the backbone of the law. I mean, that's what funds the law. People being required to do healthcare. But honestly, the shit is fucking expensive. Let's keep it real. And depending on unless you're like just destitute out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, and keep in mind though that 17 million Americans are actually on the healthcare through Obamacare. So it's putting them at stake, their healthcare at stake as well. Green Wall graduation. Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. Make sure y'all sign that petition. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. FoundTheChange.org. Link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or my Instagram account, GradyGrand716 in the bio. Also, make sure you check out my mixtape too, Still I Grind. The Instagram mixtape, which is the prelude to the album. Never been done before, Instagram mixtape, but if you go to @still_I Grind, you're gonna see some fire. You know what I'm saying? Me spazzing on other people's beats, critical commentary, cool artwork. Like, make sure you check it out, though. Now check this out. Over in Australia, a bunch of citizens are setting up tents outside of the home of the Prime Minister, of a woman actually who made international news when they had that mass shooting up at those mosques earlier this year, where this white dude ended up killing like almost 60 Muslims or whatever. And then she quickly implemented gun control. Well, they want her to quickly implement some climate control measures because there's they just had a record temperature of an average of 107.4 degrees Fahrenheit across the country yesterday, which was only breaking the hottest temperature ever had 24 hours earlier. You know what I'm saying? So this comes also as there's uncontrollable wildfires going on across the country that's sending these clouds of thick black smoke over Sydney. And it's actually causing like a bunch of fire alarms to go off. You know what I'm saying? So people outside with the mask on and getting real serious. Even ABC Nightly News had to do their nightly broadcast outside because in the capital Canberra, there in their headquarters, they actually had the smoke alarms went off inside. So it's real serious over there. Green Wall and Graduation. Of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So there's a study that's out that is extremely troubling. It has to do with the United Nations peacekeepers. These are like soldiers that you may see with like sky blue helmets, and they're supposed to be actually helping on behalf of the United Nations or whatever. Like, they look like soldiers, but they're really not like soldiers. They're just supposed to be helping. And apparently there's a pattern of sexual abuse with them, especially in Haiti. And this study has found that between 2004 and 2017, these United Nations peacekeepers fathered hundreds of children in Haiti and actually abandoned them. Now this is actually in Haiti, where they interviewed like almost like 2,000 Haitians that lived near where these United Nations peacekeepers were. And there's incidents of like them, sexually abusing these women, exchanging food for, sex with girls as young as 11 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like real grimy shit. And that's what's going down, man. Despicable, man. Green Wall graduate. Reporter of the World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So, over in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Middle Africa, they basically, DRC actually produces 60% of the world's cobalt, which is on the periodic table of elements, and is used to produce another element on the periodic table known as lithium, which, as we know, is used to power our batteries for our cell phones, other electric cars, and other electric gadgets we have out in these streets, right? So there are families in the DRC that are actually suing these huge tech companies, Microsoft, Google, Apple, Tesla, and others, accusing them of knowingly, mining cobalt, knowing that the cobalt they've gotten is actually linked to child labor. They profess that like extreme poverty has driven their children to work in these cobalt mines, working for like $2 a day. And many children are ended up like, killed or injured. You're talking about like, collapses happening in these mines. Sometimes leaving kids paralyzed or maimed even, or just flat out dead. So we'll see where this lawsuit goes. Green Wall and Graduate. For the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So over in Argentina, former Argentine police officer Mario Sandoval. This is somebody that has been accused of torture and crimes against humanity during Argentina's brutal dictatorship, right? And this was actually revealed in an Argentine newspaper over a decade ago, in Página 12, Página 12, or page 12, basically. In this paper, it revealed that he was definitely took part in this torture campaign and in crimes against humanity or whatever. Well, he's actually been living in France for
for like the past 30 years while lecturing at Sorbonne University. Well, earlier this week, he was actually extradited from France to Argentina, basically to pay for his sins. So we'll see what ends up happening. You know what I'm saying? He might either go to jail, they might, cut his head off. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. Green Wall graduate. Report of the New World Order. Bishop Brady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. You know, what we do over here at BFN is journalism, you know what I'm saying, for all intents and purposes. And, as journalists, we gotta look out for each other. So that's why you hear me reporting over throughout the years a lot on, journalists being unfairly killed or jailed just for doing journalism. Over here, we consider media to be like the fourth branch of government. Like, it's very important that we hold these powers that be accountable for their fuck shit. So it's troubling when journalists are killed or jailed for doing their job, essentially. And the Committee to Protect Journalists, the CPJ, actually put out a report showing that in 2019, worldwide, there were at least 25 journalists killed. And I thought personally the number was much higher. And at least 250 journalists jailed throughout the world just for doing their job. The deadliest countries for journalists are Mexico and Syria. And the places where you're most likely to be jailed, you're talking about China, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. Green Wall graduate. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Brady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So over in Bolivia, they've actually issued an arrest warrant for Evo Morales. Now, if you've been keeping up to date with me, I've been keeping y'all up to date with what's going on in Bolivia, how Evo Morales, he was about to actually reach his fourth term as president until he was basically ousted by what he would describe as a military coup. Kind of looks that way too, since they had hit the airwaves basically saying he should resign. Then he ended up resigning, then finding asylum in Mexico, and now he has refugee status in Argentina. They done threatened his family. They burnt his sister's house down. It's some threatening measures being taken against him. Well, now with this arrest warrant, they're trying to make it impossible for him to come back. Or deter him from coming back and helping his movement towards socialism party in these upcoming elections. At least that's what it seems like. But Morales is saying that he has a right to come back and help his party. He's not going to be a candidate in the election. It's like, let him come back. You might need to leave that alone. I don't know. Green Wall on graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Brady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So the Supreme Court actually refused to hear this case that basically would decide whether they would cities could criminalize homelessness or people camping outdoors. Now, this is they refused to hear this case, which basically leaves an appeals court ruling upheld that basically says unless cities have provided housing for every single resident that doesn't have a home, they can't criminalize that. You know what I mean? That's taking them back to the vagrancy laws, which we know have racial biases because our people didn't have homes, and then they was getting put in the system. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. Green Wall and graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Brady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So shout out to Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey, who basically signed legislation restoring the voting rights of 80,000 residents who were lost their rights due to being on parole or probation. Keep in mind, this is happening while in Georgia, they actually purged the voting system for people who they labeled as inactive by 300,000. They're saying it's routine, but a lot of voting right activists are saying this is a history of voter suppression here in Georgia. And Georgia is a red state, so we'll see what happens. Green Wall and graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Brady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So Uber actually allowed, or they actually agreed to pay $4.4 million to settle a sexual discrimination case that was brought against them by the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission. That basically said that Uber allowed for a culture of sexual harassment and for retaliation against employees who complained about said harassment. So I will say $4.4 million for a giant like Uber is not a lot of money. So they might have just take that fucking money and leave me the fuck alone. That's kind of what that sounds like, but we'll see if anything changes in these Uber rides I'll be taking. Green Wall and graduate. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Brady let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So y'all remember Jeffrey Epstein, who was in Manhattan Correctional Center, right? basically for being a serial sex abuser. This is a rich dude, was said to be a billionaire actually, but he basically raped and trafficked a bunch of underage white girls, basically. So while he was in his jail cell, everybody knew that not only was he going down, but a bunch of other rich people around the world might go down as well, like what's happening with Prince Andrew over there in Britain, where because it was understood that he was linked to Jeffrey Epstein was letting basically these world leaders and powerful people hit, possibly even Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. You know what I'm saying? But so when he killed himself, or was said that he killed himself, it was kind of no surprise, but it was still like, whoa, how the fuck did that happen? So in July, apparently, before he killed himself in August, which the two guards that are on duty are actually facing criminal charges for, in July there was an attempted suicide, and the video surveillance footage from the Manhattan Correctional Center on that day is missing. So the plot thickens with this shit. Keep in mind though, everybody knows it's reported as he hung himself, but independent investigators say, based on how his neck was stabbed, it looked like somebody killed him. You know what I mean? Greenwald graduated. Before the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. It seems like we have another Centoya Brown situation. Over in Wisconsin, teenager Crystal Kaiser is actually facing charges of first-degree intentional homicide, which carries a mandatory life sentence in Wisconsin. Now, she's facing this because she killed 34-year-old Randy Volar, some white dude who she says has been sexually abusing and raping her and trafficking her. Now, keep in mind, this dude Volar, he actually, in 2018, in February, he was arrested for having sex with underage girls and was then released despite evidence of him sexually abusing dozens of black girls. And when it came to June 2018, apparently he tried to have sex with Crystal Kaiser. She wasn't having it, and he attacked her, so she killed him, and now she's on trial. So keep baby girl in your thoughts and positive thoughts and prayers. Greenwald graduates.